Okay, let's unpack this. In our, often hectic modern world, many of us feel this persistent pull, right? To find more meaning, maybe more joy, and maybe just a way to, slow down the relentless pace of life. We chase advice, explore trends, but have you ever wondered if there's a simpler, maybe more profound philosophy? Something that truly fuels a long, happy, and fulfilling existence. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles. And this isn't just abstract stuff. No, it's deeply rooted in the real lives, the actual practices of people in Okinawa, Japan, and, one of the world's famous blue zones, places where people live remarkably long, healthy, vibrant lives. What we're aiming to do here really is pull out the most potent insights from this source, give you a shortcut to understanding a philosophy that could genuinely transform your everyday.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating about this deep dive and what the authors do so well is how they blend things together. They combine, rigorous scientific studies, established psychological theories, and these rich cultural traditions. They sort of weave these threads together to show us precisely how a profound sense of purpose, what they call Ikigai, can genuinely improve both the quality and length of our lives.
Right.
So we'll explore the tangible wisdom from this source, drawing lessons directly from the Okinawan centenarians themselves, and see what it practically means for you right now.
That's a powerful promise. We hear the word purpose thrown around a lot, especially in self-help circles. But what's truly unique about how Ikigai defines a reason to live? Is it about finding like one single grand calling, or is it something maybe much more accessible, something in our daily lives?
That's a really crucial distinction. The book describes Ikigai not as some unattainable monumental goal. It's simpler. It's more like a reason to live, or quite simply, a reason to get up in the morning. Sounds beautifully simple, right? But there's a robust, almost geometric framework behind it that helps us visualize its components.
Okay, tell us more about that framework. How do we even begin to pinpoint our own Ikigai? Where do we start?
Well, at its heart, Ikigai is like the sweet spot, the intersection where four essential elements meet. Imagine a Venn diagram, maybe. Four overlapping circles. The first is what you love, your passions, the things that truly light you up. The second circle is what you are good at, your talents, your skills, things you excel at, learned it, or innate.
Okay, love and skills. Got it.
Then the third is what the world needs. This is about contribution, impact, how you can serve others or your community. And the fourth circle, what you can be paid for, the practical aspect, how you sustain yourself. Though it doesn't have to mean a conventional job, It could be crafts, services, sharing knowledge.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about what makes me happy in isolation. It's how that happiness connects outward serving the world, sustaining life. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. When these four overlap, that's where you find this strong, sustainable sense of purpose. It fuels motivation, resilience, real happiness. And the book really emphasizes this isn't just a nice to have. Having such a clear purpose is, well, vital for mental and physical health, especially as people age. The authors found, for example, many Okinawans never truly retire like we think of it in the West, stopping all productive activity. No, instead they keep contributing. They practice their crafts, nurture gardens, mentor younger people well into their 90s and even beyond. Their Ikigai, it evolves, but it never really disappears.
Wow, that's such a striking contrast to our modern idea of retirement, isn't it? Just
Mhm.
stopping. It makes you think, doesn't it? What activities in your life right now touch on maybe two, three, or even all four of those elements? Are you maybe already living pieces of your Ikigai without even calling it that? Okay, so the concept of Ikigai itself, that's profound. But what I found really interesting in prepping for this deep dive was how the authors then connect this philosophy to the day-to-day stuff, the tangible lifestyle choices of the Okinawans. What's the first key pillar they talk about there?
Well, beyond purpose, one of the most immediate, really impactful lessons from the Blue Zones, and Okinawa specifically, is their approach to eating. The book highlights this principle, harahachibu. It's actually a Confucian teaching.
Harahachibu.
Yeah, it means basically eat until you're about 80% full.
Yeah.
It's not a strict diet plan. It's more of a mindful practice. You stop eating when you feel content, satisfied, not stuffed.
80% full. And what's the real benefit of that? Is it just about fewer calories, or is there something deeper going on?
Well, it's far more than just calories. This practice, it prevents overeating, obviously,
Yeah.
but that reduces stress on your digestive system, on your whole body, really. And it's also deeply connected to actually listening to your body's signals, hunger, fullness. It helps foster a much healthier relationship with food overall. Simple, but profoundly impactful for longevity
Yeah.
and energy too.
So what does an 80% full Okinawan plate actually look like then? Are we talking specific superfoods or?
Absolutely, there are patterns. Their diets are mostly plant-based, really rich in vegetables, things like bitter melon, carrots, lots of sweet potatoes. Tofu, seaweed, miso soup are staples too. They do eat small portions of fish, but meat, sugar, processed foods, very minimal.
Mhm.
There's a strong emphasis on seasonal produce, fresh ingredients, lots of colorful food. They drink plenty of green tea, occasionally some sake, but always in moderation. So this plant-based, seasonal, very mindful way of eating it isn't just a diet. It's a cornerstone of their health, their vitality, and yeah, probably their happiness too. It's about nourishing yourself, not just filling up.
Okay, nourishment, not excess. Makes sense. Now, beyond what's on the plate, their physical activity, it sounds quite different from what many of us might think of when we hear staying active. We're often told, hit the gym, go hard, right?
Precisely. And the book clarifies that Okinawans, generally, they don't do heavy, high-intensity gym workouts or lots of structured exercise classes. That's not their main thing. Instead, they move naturally, consistently, throughout the entire day.
Naturally. Like how?
Well, think about it. They spend time gardening, lots of bending and lifting there. They walk to visit neighbors. They practice gentle exercises, maybe some tai chi or basic yoga stretches. Even just doing household chores involves movement, bending, stretching, carrying things. It all adds up.
So it's more about integrating movement into life rather than setting aside a specific, maybe dreaded exercise time?
It's exactly right. This consistent but generally low-intensity activity keeps them strong, flexible, and mentally alert too. The book makes this really compelling contrast with our modern, often very sedentary lifestyles. It suggests that these small, regular movements spread throughout the day are actually far more effective for long-term health and vitality than, say, sitting all day and then doing one intense burst of exercise. They really highlight integrating movement so it becomes a seamless part of living, not a separate chore. It's about building a lifestyle that just keeps you subtly active. You don't even think of it as exercise.
It's clear that balancing purpose, diet, movement, that creates a solid foundation. But humans, we're social creatures, right? Deep down, does the Ikigai philosophy and the Okinawan example give us any particular insight into the power of social connection for longevity, for happiness?
Oh, absolutely. It's huge. The authors stress the profound importance of social connections, of community in the Okinawan way of life. They introduce us to this concept of moai, which is, well, it's far more than just a casual group of friends.
A moai. Tell me more.
Yeah, a moai is like a committed, lifelong circle of friends, often formed in childhood, and they mutually agree to support each other, emotionally, socially, sometimes even financially, for their entire lives.
Wow, that sounds like an incredible safety net, a true bond. What does that mean practically day to day for Okinawans?
It means they have this built-in support system that genuinely lasts a lifetime. This really strong sense of belonging, it significantly reduces loneliness, which we know is detrimental to health. It provides emotional resilience during hard times, and it just brings consistent joy through daily interactions, sharing meals, community activities. In a world where, let's face it, individualism often takes precedence, and loneliness is a growing epidemic, this communal approach, this moai system, it offers a really powerful lesson in collective well-being and sustained happiness. It's about deliberately cultivating those supportive relationships.
That communal bond is incredible,
Yeah.
really powerful. So we're talking about external connections with others, but how does this philosophy then look inward, at our internal world, how we perceive reality, our mindset?
Exactly. That's another big piece. A large portion of the book focuses on mental resilience, on attitude, drawing from traditional Japanese philosophies. Take wabi-sabi, for instance. It's often talked about with aesthetics, like appreciating an old, cracked pot.
Right. Imperfection.
Yes, but it's deeper than that. It's about recognizing that everything is transient, imperfect, and incomplete, including ourselves, our efforts. And that insight can be incredibly liberating, especially in our often perfectionist culture. It allows us to embrace progress over some impossible standard of flawless execution. That reduces so much self-imposed pressure, the kind that leads to stress and anxiety. It really reframes your perspective on success, on beauty itself.
That is a massive shift, isn't it? Especially when we're constantly bombarded with images of, well, perfection. And then there's Ichigo-ichi. I've heard that translates something like one time, one meeting. Is that right?
Precisely. Ichigo-ichi encourages us to truly savor, to be fully present for each unique moment, because it will never, ever happen in exactly the same way again. It's about Putting down your phone during dinner, freely engaging in a conversation, truly noticing the taste of your morning coffee. It basically transforms mundane moments into potentially profound experiences. It reminds us to extract the richness from the now, which is a direct antidote to all our modern distractions. The constant urge to look ahead or dwell on the past, it's an active practice of mindfulness, really.
Embracing imperfection, being truly present, those are such powerful shifts. And speaking of being present and engaged, the book connects this state, this sense of purpose, to another really fascinating psychological concept, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. The book links Ikigai quite strongly with psychological concepts like flow, that state Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi described.
Flow, right. Getting lost in an activity.
Exactly. That state of being deeply immersed, focused in an activity you enjoy, where time just seems to melt away and you feel completely absorbed. It isn't just about passive enjoyment, though. It's about finding activities that perfectly challenge your skills, not too easy, not too hard, without overwhelming you. That creates this sweet spot of deep engagement.
So it's not just something that randomly happens to you, it's something you can actively seek out, cultivate.
Absolutely. The authors argue that consciously seeking out and cultivating these flow states is one of the most direct paths to experiencing your ikigai and profound happiness, whether it's through your work, a hobby, painting, playing music, even a really deep conversation. When you're in flow, you're not distracted by worries or external pressures. You're just doing. And that focused engagement is incredibly fulfilling. Think of it like a mini vacation for your mind, where you feel fully alive, fully connected to what you're doing.
This emphasis on purpose and meaning, it really does echo some profound psychological insights. It feels like it goes beyond just finding happiness day to day. It links to something deeper, almost existential.
Definitely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the book draws these powerful connections to Viktor Frankl's logotherapy. Frankl, of course, was a Holocaust survivor, and his whole thing was emphasizing finding meaning in life, even, and perhaps especially, through suffering. He observed that those who had a profound reason to endure a clear why were actually more likely to survive unimaginable hardships. Their purpose gave them strength.
That connection to Frankel is incredibly potent, linking purpose directly to survival itself. But, in a world where we often try to avoid suffering, how does Ikigai help us proactively build that resilience? Is it just about reacting better to hardship, or is it more about finding joy despite struggle, or maybe something else entirely?
That's a fantastic question. The authors relate this directly to Ikigai by showing that having a clear purpose isn't just about making the good times better. It actively builds your resilience for facing challenges, big or small. It's like having an inner compass when you feel lost or overwhelmed. They put it very powerfully in the book. Those who know their why can handle almost any how. So it's not about seeking out suffering, not at all, but it's understanding that a strong sense of purpose provides the inner fortitude, the grit, to navigate life's inevitable difficulties with a sense of direction and meaning, rather than just being swept away by them. It gives you that reason to keep moving forward, even when things are tough. Which really raises an important question for you, the listener. What is your driving purpose? What's your why that gives you strength when you face the hows of life?
This all sounds wonderful, truly inspiring stuff. But practically speaking, how does someone actually find their own ikigai? Especially in our modern world, which is often hectic, very demanding, it can feel like, oh great, another thing to add to my already overflowing to-do list, find my ikigai.
That's a very real concern, and Garcia and Morales definitely address it head on. They offer practical advice, and it really centers on reflection and alignment. Not necessarily adding more, but maybe seeing things differently. They suggest starting by just reflecting. Think about your personal passions. What do you genuinely love doing? Think about your innate skills. What are you naturally good at? And what are your core values? What truly matters to you? Then start considering how these might align with activities that not only serve others in some way, but could also potentially sustain your livelihood. Even if it's not your main income source initially, it's really about taking inventory of what genuinely brings you joy and fulfillment, and then seeing how that might intersect, even in small ways, with the needs of the world around you.
So it's not necessarily about, quitting your day job tomorrow and moving to Okinawa.
No, not at all. That's really important. They remind us that Ikigai doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing mission. It doesn't have to be a single, overarching career goal that defines your entire life. It can absolutely be found in small, consistent daily pleasures and contributions. Things like tending a small garden, passionately playing music just for yourself or friends, mentoring a junior colleague at work, or teaching a skill to a loved one, volunteering an hour a week in your community, or simply taking time to create something beautiful. just because. The real key is consistency and finding that conscious alignment between what you do and what genuinely gives you joy, a sense of purpose, and maybe a feeling of contribution. It's about making those small, deliberate choices every single day that echo your core values and passions.
That's such a crucial distinction, isn't it? The idea that Ikigai isn't necessarily out there to be found, but can be cultivated right here in the mundane, the consistent, the small joys. So what does this all mean for you, our listener? This deep dive into Ikigai, it really reveals this powerful blend, doesn't it? Ancient wisdom, modern science, and these compelling real-life stories from some of the longest living people on Earth.
In essence, yeah. The book argues that a meaningful, healthy, and long life is, well, eminently possible. It happens when we consciously nurture our sense of purpose, when we practice balance and mindfulness in our diet and physical activity, when we maintain those close, supportive social ties, like the moai, and when we cultivate a positive, resilient mindset, embracing things like wabi-sabi and ichigo-ichi. The lessons from Okinawa really show us that happiness isn't necessarily about accumulating massive wealth or achieving huge material success. It's much more about finding deep satisfaction in simple things, staying active and engaged throughout life, and having a compelling reason to wake up with enthusiasm each day. It's truly a holistic approach, blending mind, body, spirit, and community.
And by discovering, or maybe rediscovering, and consciously living your Ikigai, even in small ways, you can improve not only how long you live, but also how deeply, how vibrantly, and how joyfully you experience life itself. It feels like an invitation, really, an invitation to infuse every moment with a bit more meaning.
Absolutely. So considering all we've discussed today, from those 4 pillars of Ikigai to Harahachi-bu, the power of a moai, embracing wabi-sabi, and seeking out flow, here's a final thought. What one small, consistent action could you take this week, starting today maybe, to align just a little more closely with your own reason to live? Perhaps it's just 5 minutes reflecting on those 4 elements of purpose. Maybe it's reaching out to reconnect with your own moai. Or maybe it's simply eating a little more mindfully at your very next meal. Even a tiny step can set you on a path towards discovering or deepening your own Ikigai.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the secrets of a long and happy life. We hope maybe you found your reason to get up tomorrow just a little clearer and perhaps a little more inspired.